It is great when somebody approaches me who's new to consulting and they're on top of the world. They're glowing, they're ecstatic because of their success. There are also times when somebody who's new to consulting is struggling and they're wondering what they have done wrong. And they wonder if they've made a mistake by going out on their own to become their own boss and start their own consulting business. What I have found is the clearer a consultant is as to their why, what, who, and how, the greater their chances for success are. Your why and your what, your focus, is the one thing for which you want to be known. Your who, what does your ideal client look like? What are their characteristics, behaviors? Your how is your point of view, which is your differentiator. It's what helps you stand out in a crowded field of other consultants. And your point of view drives your service or services. Your focus, ideal client, and point of view to services is also referred to as your business core. Hi, I'm Laura Burford. I help business consultants build sustainable, scalable businesses. My aim, not only to help build successful businesses, but to help business consultants soar. Why? I don't want to see consultants fail. When I started out on my own, I had over 10 years of solid consulting experience. And I made numerous mistakes, all starting with my business core, all related to my why, what, who, and how. And I struggled to find someone who could help me. I just couldn't find anybody. I don't want other consultants to be in that spot. This presentation includes a number of action items you can take immediately. But there's only so much I can discuss in a short period of time. So I will point you to some other free resources. At the end of this presentation, I hope you walk away with a better understanding of how clarity as to your why, what, who, and how, or your focus, ideal client, and point of view can improve your overall business performance, enhance client relationships, helping you connect with the right people, and increase your overall confidence. At this point, let me flip to a slide presentation, so it is easier for you to gather information and take notes. Succeeding as a consultant starts with having clarity around your focus, your why and your what, your ideal client, your who, and your point of view to service or your how. Your focus, ideal client, and point of view to service are known as your business core. Just like your body needs a solid core to help stabilize and support you, so does your business. Having a solid core helps you market you, enabling you to build meaningful relationships with people who might become clients. Having a solid business core increases your overall confidence because you are clear as to what you do, who you help, and how you do it. When it comes to defining and clarifying your business core, there are 4 steps that you want to take. The first step, you want to define and clarify your focus, your why and your what, the one thing for which you want to be known. The second step, you want to define and find your ideal client, your who. The third step, you want to validate and modify, and then validate again. The fourth step, you want to define your point of view to your service, your how. Here's the thing, the third step is a step that is often overlooked, and it is probably one of the most important steps you can take as you work on defining and validating your focus, ideal client, and your point of view to service. Let's start by diving down and talking about focus in more detail. Your focus is the one thing for which you want to be known. That's all it is. What is that one thing? Think of your focus as the foundation. Think of your focus as the foundation of a house. If the foundation of a house is shaky, cracked, and unstable, there's a good chance the house could end up with structural challenges. The same thing is true with the foundation for your business. Your focus. Your focus is the starting point for just about everything you do, and you want to make sure it's as solid as possible. And here's the thing, if you're not clear as to what that one thing is you want to be known for, or you say you can provide a multitude of services, there's a good chance your foundation is shaky. And there's a good chance clients don't understand how you can help them. And the last thing you want to do is be known as the jack of all trades and the master of none. That's a mistake I made when I started out. There were a number of things I could do, but I was being looked at as the jack of all trades and the master of none. So the clearer you are as the one thing for which you want to be known, the less confused people will be. And it makes it easier for them to turn around and ask you for help if they're clear as to that one thing for which you want to be known. When determining your focus, you, the consultant, starts by evaluating who you are and what matters to you. And then you continue by thinking about your strength and expertise and your experiences. And you continue by thinking about the demand and desire, or the reason why somebody might hire you and pay you to help them. Think about all the things, but where the three converge is where you find your focus. Could, in that small area, that small sliver, could you have a multiple of services? Yes. But you want to narrow it down. For example, an information technology consultant might end up having, in that small sliver, technical operational process efficiency, agile software development, strategic technology planning, technical project management, all things that they can do. But do they excel at all of them? Probably not. And what do they enjoy doing? The 4 items I mentioned are all things that probably somebody will pay you for. But again, what is the one thing that you want to be known for? Where do you really excel? Your focus is the reason for doing what you are doing. Your focus is your why and your what. Your focus is not your how. Your focus is not the products or services that you provide. Don't confuse focus with service. They are 2 different things. I wish I could say you only determine your focus once when you start a consulting business, but that's not true. As a consultant, you change and the world changes. For example, during the pandemic, many consultants had to take a step back and pivot, reassess, and change their focus. Other consultants needed to take a step back, and their focus was fine, but they needed to change their services. You constantly hone and think about your focus. If you want some additional help with determining your consulting focus, there's a free workbook out on my website. Help yourself to it. Here's a QR code. There's a link. Help yourself to the free workbook. Let's move on to step 2. Define and find your ideal client. Your who. Your ideal client is the person you want to work with and who wants to work with you. People say to me, well, wait a minute. Don't I want to work with a company? No, the company is going to pay you, but a person hires you and you want to identify that person. And when you identify that person, you want to think about the characteristics. This is defining them. Characteristics are tangible, but you also want to think about your ideal client's behaviorisms or mannerisms, the intangibles. It's the combination of the two that help define your ideal client. A characteristic could be the person, your ideal client, is a small business owner with less than 25 employees. Very tangible. A behavior or a mannerism could be a business owner who believes in social good and sets aside time for his employees to volunteer. So here's an exercise to help you come up with your characteristics and behaviors. I recommend this all the time. It's an easy exercise. And it's brainstorming. Find a quiet spot, set a timer for 15 minutes, and list all the characteristics you can think of. When the timer goes off, stop. Do the same thing now for behaviors and mannerisms. Sort each of the two lists. Prioritize the list. Now, combine the two lists, but just take the top 10 from each list and sort them again. Prioritize them. What are your top 10 ideal client characteristics and behaviors? What is the top 10 ideal client criteria? A pretty easy exercise to do, but it will take some time. Here's the thing. It's great that you defined your ideal client, but you also have to find them. Because if you can't find them, you don't have an ideal client. And you don't have anybody that's going to hire you. But you want to be strategic as to how you think about your ideal client. And the reason you want to be strategic is you only have so much time and money. And you want to connect and build relationships with people who fit your ideal client. You also want to make it easy for your ideal client to find you. So you want to strategically hang out where they hang out. And believe me, there's nothing better than having somebody come up to you and say, I heard you. I've been watching you. I believe you can help me. There are 9 channels or 9 categories that you might want to consider to help you find your ideal client. Associations, organizations, complementary businesses. Another one that's not on this screen here is social media. And you want to spend time in only a few places. So not only do you want to be strategic as to the places where you might want to find your ideal client, or you can find your ideal client, but you only have so much time and you want to spend it wisely. So you want to be careful as to where you hang out. Let me give you an example. One consultant with whom I work started networking with an association about 5 years ago when he started out as a consultant. And it's that one association where he has connected with the majority of his clients. Another consultant with whom I work, he decided that one place he wanted to hang out were at 3 conferences, 3 key conferences where he knew he could find the CEOs and business owners that he wanted to talk to. That's where he makes it a point to hang out and visit each year. And that's where he finds the majority of his clients. Another consultant with whom I work networks with complementary businesses. And that group has been instrumental in helping her connect with her ideal client. And she does the same thing with them. It's much more of a referral kind of relationship, but that's where she finds her ideal client. Where you find your ideal client depends on your focus and your ideal client criteria. I want to help you find your ideal client. And in the digital download documentation, it's an event package, I provided a document that includes an exercise that also includes the categories to help you find your ideal client. The exercise is relatively easy to do, but I will be honest, it will take some time because it will require you to do some research. Let's move on to step 3. And I mentioned step 3 is validate, modify, and validate again. Step 3 is often overlooked. And that's one of the biggest mistakes people can make, is overlooking this step. This step is simply reaching out and asking for help. You're asking for help and feedback. Validating is taking your focus and your ideal client information and talking to people who fit your ideal client profile to see if they are interested in your focus. Another way to look at it is your ideal client, how you've identified them, open to hiring you so that you can help them with what you want to do? Here's the thing. When you're validating, as I said, this is one of the biggest mistakes people make, not validating. When you're validating, you are not selling. When you are validating, you are asking for help. You're asking for feedback. And most people are open to doing this because they want to see you succeed. They don't want to see people fail. And rarely have I had somebody say they're not open to talking to me as I go through a validation exercise. And this validating is something consultants continually do. I actually add a validation exercise into my yearly planning. As you listen to what people have to say and analyze the feedback, you modify your focus and ideal client criteria. Sometimes, and this does happen, a consultant finds out that their ideal client, or who they've identified as their ideal client, isn't interested in the one thing that they want to help them with. And believe it or not, that's okay. Actually, in some ways, it's great, but it does result in the consultant have to starting over again. One consultant actually said to me that if he hadn't taken the time to validate, he would have had wasted months of time and money before he realized he was off course. Granted, he had to start over, and there was a setback for about 3, almost 4 months, but now he's soaring. And his feeling was a setback now is better than a setback later. Here's the great thing about validating. As you validate, you start building a list of people with whom you want to follow up with at a later date. And once your business core is solid and you're clear as to your point of view as well as your services, you're in a great shape to go back to some of these people and talk to them again. If they meet your ideal client criteria and you believe they have a need and will be open to hiring you, now that you're clear as to your why, your what, your who, and your how. There's another thing that happens. As you validate, you gather information to help you with your point of view, how you're going to differentiate yourself from another person. You never stop validating, researching, and honing in on your focus and your ideal client criteria. If you do stop validating, the result can be no clients, no money, and no business. To help you with validating, because I believe validating is so important to the success of your business and clarity as to your focus, ideal client, and point of view. There's a 12-step validation process that I use with my clients. It's available to you. It's Invalidate Your Focus and Ideal Client. That's the name of the document. It's a downloadable digital document that's included in the event digital package. Help yourself to it. 12 steps. Go through those steps. Use those steps over and over. Believe me, I believe you will find it extremely helpful validating, extremely helpful to help you build your business. Let's move on to the fourth step. Fourth step is this, and this is the last step. This is your point of view to service. Your point of view is how you help your client achieve what they want to achieve. Prospective clients interested in working with you want to know how you can help them, how you can help them overcome their struggles, how you can help them achieve with an opportunity. And your point of view is the starting point for helping you explain how you're going to achieve it. Your point of view is strategic in nature. It helps the consultant at a high level explain how they're going to move a client from where they are today to where they want to be. A point of view is a consultant's differentiator, helping a consultant stand out in a crowded field of other consultants. People starting out as consultants say, how am I going to stand out? How am I going to be different than that other technology person, that other web person, that other accountant, that other development person, that other project manager? One way is with your point of view. This helps you be different than your competitors. What a point of view is not, though, it is not your value proposition. An easy way to explain point of view is with the help of an example. And this is an older example, and it's in the tech industry again. And that's because when I started my first consulting business, it was an IT management consulting business. And the situation is this. I had a client ask me for help because they had received 3 network outsourcing proposals. The 3 networking service providers all provided similar services, and there were no major differences with the work proposed or the fees quoted. They were all within the same basic range. The client was struggling to figure out how to decide on who to hire. Here's what we did. We set up meetings with all 3 providers. One provider sent a salesperson who had never dealt with networks. They were truly a salesperson. The salesperson walked through the proposal, but a personal connection with the client didn't occur because he really didn't relate to them. The client didn't feel comfortable with them. Another service provider sent a salesperson and a support person. The 2 walked through the proposal, and the support person answered questions as they were asked. But again, the connection didn't occur. And the support person didn't really go out of his way to explain how they would work together. The 3rd service provider sent the owner who had built the business because he was interested in making sure the client understood how they would work together. And the owner brought a support person with him. But it wasn't just a support person. This was the support person who would be the key contact for the client. The owner didn't walk through the proposal. He put the proposal aside. Instead, he discussed how they would work together and what was important to them from a success perspective, but he also wanted to know what was important to the client from a support perspective. What would make it a win for the client? He explained their how from a strategic level as well as how from a tactical level. You want to guess who won the work? A point of view is strategic. It's the high-level vision, how you move somebody from where they are and help them achieve what they want to achieve. Your point of view drives your methodology, which drives your service. Your services are the tactical aspects of your business, the customized solution, the package offering, the webinars. My point of view is known as the consultant's blueprint. It's a framework. My point of view is what drives my methodology and drives my services. My services include things such as the Consultant Mastery Program. I don't have any downloadable digital documents, but what I would like to do is point you to some videos on how to come up with your point of view. You can find them out on my YouTube channel. There's other videos out there as well. Help yourself to the videos. Welcome back. I hope you picked up some ideas and jotted down some notes to help you work on defining or refining your business core. Your business core, your focus, ideal client, point of view to services, your why, what, who, and how. There is tension, conflict, and an interaction between the three of them. As you modify one, there's a very good chance you may need to modify one of the others. There are 4 steps to help you define your business core, to help you define your why, what, who, and how. You start by defining and clarifying your focus, that one thing for which you want to be known. You continue by defining and finding your ideal client. Defining what are the characteristics and behaviors. Finding where do they hang out and where do you want to hang out to make it easy for them to find you. You continue with validating, modifying, and then validating again. This step is often overlooked by consultants, and it is one of the biggest mistakes consultants make as they work on their business core. The 4th step, you want to define your point of view, your differentiator, what helps you stand out in a crowded field of other consultants, and your point of view drives your service or services. Here's the key. You never stop working on your business core. You never stop honing your focus, ideal client, and point of view to services. During the presentation, I try to provide you ideas and some exercises that you can do immediately. I've also pointed you to a few free resources. There are 2 digital download documents in the event digital documentation information. There's a free workbook, and it is a workbook on my website. Help yourself to the workbook. The workbook is on defining your focus. And there are videos on the YouTube channel that deal with the point of view, as well as other aspects of your business core. Use them, help yourself to them. They're free. With a solid business core, you are in a fabulous spot to go ahead and build a successful, sustainable, and scalable business. A solid business core will help you connect with the right people, increase overall performance for your business, and build confidence. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this presentation. I hope you walk away with at least one idea that you can implement immediately to help you build your own successful consulting business.